So we'll get this rolling. We'll start with the basic. We'll just do a quick scan through the images first before we get to, and then we'll go back through and do the critique. So for basic, we had 6 images. Yeah. First one, sunset at Aransas Bay. Stained glass for the library. My new Himba friend, Namibia. A break between sets. Musical stars, the Bruce Smith Band. And last, Guitar Wizard, Bruce Smith Band. All right. So we'll just back up. And if it's yours to talk, just scream it out. I see you, Steve, so you could just wave or say, hey, it's me.
Okay, so that was mine.
The first one's yours? All right,
yep.
Go for it.
Okay, so I'm inclined to like sunsets. But this one, if you look very, very closely, you'll see that the horizon is not straight. And that is one of my pet peeves. I have to tell you that I learned to critique from Scott Kelby, and it's one of his pet peeves. So I see it. The first thing I look at a photo, that's the first thing I see. The other thing I see is that I think that shorebird right in almost dead center, if you had moved a couple of feet to your right, might have gotten that shorebird right in the stream of light. Now, you may have not done that on purpose, but when I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, oh, the bird could have been in the middle. Also, if you had waited just a little bit of time when the sun was half above and half below the horizon, that would have been probably a better shot. And the last thing is that when you're shooting like that, and this is a personal preference, not a critique on the photo so much, is that I like really, really small apertures like f/22 or f/32 or whatever, and you get these amazing streaks of light out of the sun. Whether you like that or not is another issue. But all in all, it's the whole point. You got there at the right time, on the right kind of day with the right kind of clouds, and that's half the battle right there.
Thank you. Stained glass for the library.
So this is a very beautiful picture. And I love the smile on all the faces of the children around the world, and it shows the diversity of the world. There's not much you can do about changing the dynamics of the picture since it's a stained glass window, but I think there's a couple of things that distract me a little bit on the picture. First, I'd like to see more if the entire pictures of the children were there rather than being chopped off and on the edges. Maybe back up just a little bit, use a different length shutter speed or something like that. But that's about the only thing I find distracting in the picture, is that I want to see more. I want to see more of the picture. I want to see those edges that are not cut off. Other than that, it's a great shot.
Okay.
Question.
Next. My new Himba friend.
Okay, that one's mine. I think it's a really nice image, and there are a lot of things that are working for it. I think the crop is particularly good. If you cropped in closer, you would lose some of the like some of the clothing and maybe some of the jewelry on the arms and stuff. So I think that the crop is good, and that it's open enough that you get some feel for what's in the background. I think that the depth of field actually works really well here. The background is blurry enough that you get good separation between the child and the background, but it's not so out of focus that you don't get a feel for the environment. I also like that it has backlight so that you get the light on the shoulders and around the head. And so all of those things I think really work well for this picture. One thing is that maybe it's a little flat and that maybe if there was a little more contrast on the child compared to the background, it would maybe stand out a little bit more. But overall, I think it's just a really good picture. I also like something that I think is really important here is that the photographer got down at eye level of the subject, which is a lot better than a lot of times people tend to just stand up and they're looking down at the subject. And so that makes it much more engaging, being at eye level, looking right into their face, and that bent over stuff just makes it dynamic. So I think it's just a really great picture.
Next, a break between sets.
So the first thing that happened when I opened up was, ooh, I like this one. Okay, so that I don't just do that to every photograph. It's like, oh yeah, okay, I like the way the lighting is. I like the she's holding that cigarette. I think because the hand is cropped off a little bit, that if you cropped in to just above the watch, that it would still leave the neck of the guitar, and I would take away some of the headroom. But I love it that there's that black background because of the stage lighting. Yeah, it says hello to me. This is somebody interesting. And so you've got an interesting subject and you got good lighting and you've got a good moment there. So all in all, nice picture.
Hey, thanks. Musical stars, the Smooth Bruce Smith Band.
So I think the title of this picture actually captures the stars in the picture. Okay. I think the title of this picture and the stars in the picture actually really align very well. It's a very tough environment to take a photo in, but I think they did a really good job of capturing the essence of the environment there. It's a really highlights and can really expose everything, and then low lights that are hard to see. The only thing I think I would change is I felt that the one person on the left side was pretty much hidden. You're not seeing their face, you're not seeing what they're doing, and they're kind of standing on the background. You could say the same thing about the guitar player on the right side, but I would crop it a little bit differently and just have that person removed out. But that's just my own personal opinion, and other people may like the whole picture, capturing the entire environment.
Okay.
Other than that, I think it's a decent shot, a good shot for the environment and the action going on.
Thanks. And last, Guitar Wizard,
All right.
Bruce Smith Band.
I'm going to talk about this one. I think it's a nice intimate moment with the guitarist. I think the aspect ratio here, the 16:9, really works here because it captures the whole length of the guitar and still in close enough that you don't pick up too much other distracting stuff in the background that might draw attention away from the subject. The one thing that I feel is that it looks like it's a bit out of focus. I don't know if that is because of the grain, because of the high ISO, or if it's maybe cropped in closer. But I find that there's something a little bit distracting about that. Overall, I think that the exposure looks really good, which I think is a hard thing to do when you have the dark background and bright lights on with the black and everything. And so getting that exposure right is that really works here. And I don't know whether it's slightly out of focus or if there's just grain or there's propped in so much that the grain shows, but. Okay. Okay. Do we need to redo any stuff here or just in the next ones? Yeah, I think it's a nice picture. So.
All right,
But it's only for Zoom.
it's only for Zoom.
There's also chairs in the front that people can sit in too.
Yeah.
I'm trying to talk to Mike. Okay, well, we'll try to do it on the next ones. Overall, this is a nice picture.
Okay. So for the basic, let's see who the judges' choices are. Because of the few pictures, we just got first and second. Second place goes to Leslie Chatham, A Break Between Sets. First goes to my new Himba friend, also Leslie Chatham. Very nice.
Might have to take that photographer out of the beginners class.
Yeah. You want to say anything about the picture?
No, so for me, I really like the people. I really like them. I discovered I really like people. So when we had it, those are the ones I was on to. One trying to explore that a little more.
Very good. All right, now the people's choice.
I have a question for the group after the people's choice.
Oh, there we go. All right, so for the people's choice, let's see what the people say. Bronze goes to Dennis Eisenberg, Sunset at Aransas Bay. Silver goes to the one and only Clay Lehman, Musical Stars. And I think the people agreed with the judges. Gold goes to Leslie Chatham.
I asked the group's opinion on something.
Go for it.
The one shot of the stained glass, I'm just wondering what the group feels about photographing what in essence is another artist's work without any real changes or modifications or additions or subtractions, pretty much like photographing the Mona Lisa and holding it up. Does anybody else feel that that is not really something that should be submitted as original work?
I don't think anybody thinks that it shouldn't be submitted. I would probably go along the lines that it's more like street art, you know, when you take pictures of graffiti on buildings and stuff like that. I think it all falls in under that.
That's what I just wanted another opinion.
Yeah. That type of transgression. Not good practice. All right, let's go to intermediate. 28 images. We'll go do a quick scan first of all of them. And then we'll get to the critiques. Springtime in the Smokies. See you later. Planetary Space Jam. Iceland Sea Stack. Mommy. Does my tuft look okay? Time for a dip. Orchid, IMG 6505. Colorful Blue Jay. Bluebirds. The nose knows. Nest building. Monarch. Perennial black-eyed Susan. Pass Scenic Railroad, number 5. One mommy to a customer. Nature at work. Mountain Camp Feeder. Stranger in a Strange Land. Guitarist. Pass Scenic Railroad number 2 and number 11. Great Egret with Turtle Admirer. Lake Champlain. Listening. Vegetarian. Rockport Beach, the conductor. Orion and the Running Man. Last, Tomorrowland, Namibia. Okay. Now we'll get into the critiques. All right. Springtime in the Smokies. Does anybody have that one?
That's mine. So in my opinion, the duration of the shutter was spot on. Spot on. The only real comment I might have would be perhaps 2 things. Add a little clarity to the rocks themselves. The water's fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong. And I'm wondering how interesting the rock was in the upper left-hand corner. And I'm wondering if the rock pretty much dead center on the bottom edge, if there's water just if you'd shot just a little bit wider, what that might look like. But no, it's a very pleasant picture. You don't usually see it with the green like that. It's nice. And you did not overdo the smoothing of the water, so nice shot.
Hey, thanks. See ya later.
So I like this picture a lot just because of the simplicity of the picture and the entire focus is on that alligator. The vignette around it keeps that focus on the black, on the alligator. I like the way the eye is reflected in the water there and the simplicity there. And that's why it speaks to me. I think it's a good shot. I think it's clear. I think you could have probably dodged around the eye a little bit more, or maybe to make it pop out even more than it is already. And I think that would have made it a little more dynamic and a little less flat. But other than that, I think it's a really good shot.
Okay. Planetary Space Jam. Okay. Iceland Sea Stack.
Okay, that was mine. So I'm going to tell you that once again, the exposure of the lung exposure seems spot on. What I'm not gonna lie to you, I took it into Lightroom and I brightened up a little bit of the rocks just to see, added a little clarity to the rocks in front, dodged and burned a little just to see what would happen. And it's just a nice photograph, but I'm looking, if you sort of brought it in, cropped it in just ever so slightly, so the large rock hit the corner, the bottom corner, instead of, I'm not quite sure what's to the right of that large rock. And then of course I'm wondering, there's a little black spot in the corner of the really big rock on the left. I don't know whether that was a bird or what that is. I'm wondering if you had taken a different approach and put that rock right in the center, if you'd moved it over to the right and gotten more of that cliff. Now, I have no idea what's on that cliff or what the rest of it looks like, so it may not have been possible. You may needed to go the other direction, but I highly suggest avoiding putting things in the center of a photograph. But other than that, it's right place, right time, great clouds, good water, nice job.
Hey. Mommy. Okay. Does my tuft look okay? Time for a dip.
Okay, that was mine. And I don't want to be cruel. I just am going to tell you that I didn't understand why you took the picture. It's not quite pattern interrupted, because you can't quite tell that those balls are, three of them are all the same. You have to kind of look to see, but I really didn't have anything to say about it because I'm not quite sure why you took the picture. There may be a great story behind it, but I don't know what that is. And in my opinion, photographs need to stand on their own, but sorry about that.
Orchid. Colorful blue jay.
I'll talk about this one. Turn some. Okay, so this is a really nice picture. I think it's a green jay, probably a male green jay. And I think that something that's interesting about this is a pretty hard picture to take at that time of day. It seems like the sun is very high and it's often hard to get it without shadow, but this one the angles and everything are really good so that there's a lot of light on the bird. And the colors really stand out. And I think that it's also good that it was photographed near eye level. So there's so many bird shots, you're looking right up at them from down below. So this is just a really great picture that I wish that I could take sometime. But the thing that might be able to be done to improve it a little bit is the stick has some very light spots where the lichen is on the stick under the bird that I think are distracting. That if that was just darkened a little bit, so that the perch was darker. Other than that, I think that the depth of field works fine here, that you get some feel for the environment. And the colors just really stand out. The only thing that would be possibly darken that perch a bit, just so that it's not drawing your eye away from the bird. Oh.
Bluebirds.
Okay, forget everything I said about not being in the center, because I love the fact that this is centered because they're facing opposite directions. I love the fact that you can see the light in their eyes, because that's important to know those birds are alive. Dead birds don't have light in their eyes. The depth of field for the sky, if that's the real sky, it's certainly a nice one. I like the photograph. I shoot a lot of birds. Yeah, it's a nice shot.
The nose. Nest building.
I can talk to that one some. Okay. So this one has the great blue herons building their nest. And I think it's particularly interesting, the interaction between the two birds as they pass the stick. And I think that it has sort of a comedic look to it because their feathers on their head are sticking up and in disarray and stuff. So it's sort of, and the bright eye looking straight at us. So overall, I like that. The one thing that on here, I feel that maybe all of these branches and stuff on the left are maybe too much. I think that the really interesting focus here is the birds interacting with each other, and that it could be maybe cropped closer and maybe get rid of some of these distracting branches. And maybe if you did that, you could even take the branch over the bird's head away some so that you are focused more on the interaction between the birds. But even without that, it's still very interesting because it's showing the birds in this nesting behavior. I just particularly like the way that they're handing the stick across and the patterns that the stick makes. And so focusing on that more than the whole scene might be a little more powerful.
Monarch.
Another one of mine. So first of all, the fact that you were able to get that close, I don't know whether it was telephoto or not, but you're at just the right height. I love the crop. I love the colors. I love the backgrounds. Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, very nice shot.
Perennial black-eyed. Past Scenic Railroad.
Oh, I'll talk about that one too. Okay, this one I really liked. I think that the way that the picture is cropped is nice because it's got all that smoke going up above the engines. And so capturing all of that dynamic with the steam and the smoke and all those layers is very interesting. The locomotive itself is interesting. This kind of geared steam locomotive, I think, is sort of unusual. So I kind of wish that it was taken a little bit lower so you could see the the rest of the gear mechanism for this kind, which just looks different than a lot of other steam engines that we tend to think of, but even having the engineer, everything about this one, I really like the way that it's framed in close, but that it captures all of that steam and smoke above, which makes it very interesting. So I really like that picture and the way it was done.
One mommy to a customer.
Okay, I have photographed thousands and thousands of photographs of baboons, and this is what I call the awe picture. You show this to people and people say awe. The baby's looking right at you. Mom's looking off the other way. If mom had been looking towards you, that would have been even better. Or if there'd been just a little light in mom's eyes, better. But I like the crop. I like the baby's just looking just perfect. And so it's just a very nice shot. Show it to people and see if they don't say aw.
Nature at work. Mountain camp feeder. Stranger
Okay.
in a strange land.
First of all, let me say I'm a huge fan of the book by the same title. And I understand the caption and what you attempted to do. I think that if you went in and cleaned up the orange glow on the top of the colored flower, the green glow to the right of it, and the yellowish green glow on the stem, I know a lot of people don't like selective color. Okay, it's just, they see it's passé. However, people who are not photographers like it just fine. So I suggest going in with the sponge and just getting rid of the color where you kind of missed on the stem and around the flower, and then at first I thought, should you crop it? No, you shouldn't. The crop is fine. It's just the technical detail of the post that's the problem. I would go fix that and then have this one as one of your keepers.
Guitarist.
So I think this is a great action shot. I think the focus is good. And in fact, I like the fact that his hand is just a little bit out of blurry. So that it looks like the action, that you're capturing the action as he's playing the guitar there. The only thing that distracts me in this picture is the arc that's over his arm that's playing the guitar, and the whites behind that. That kind of pulls my eye away from the whole action of the picture. But other than that, the settings that he took the picture with, whoever took this picture, was just excellent. They did a really good job of capturing the light, capturing the action, and it's a really good crop also.
Cass Scenic Railroad, number 2 and number 11. Great egret with turtle admirer.
Yeah, I love the feathers. They're so delicate and so light. I think it can be cropped in quite a bit from the left, and maybe even up a little bit from the bottom. That stick in the middle that sticks up between the bird and the turtle really isn't necessary to be there. But boy, I really love the way the bird's feathers are laying out, and it's just, you were there and the height, you're down low enough. Like I said, I'd crop in a little from the left. Not sure I'd crop in from the top. I'd have to see, but yeah, good timing and nice photograph.
Lake Champlain. Listening. Vegetarian.
Yeah. I love this photo. The only thing I would do is I realize it's a 2.3 or 4.6, and that's probably what your camera shot. But if you happen to crop it to an 8x10, which makes really nice prints, by the way, I think that getting rid of a lot of that headroom would bring that caterpillar closer to you a little bit. And I might add a little texture to the caterpillar itself. Hard to tell, but I think that adding a little texture would help. But just get rid of the headroom, and what that would do is, you know, you've got the diagonal line going straight into the lower corner. If the upper branch was going straight into a corner too, that would be really, really nice composition. But cool shot.
Rockport Beach, the conductor.
This is a case of being in the right time, or right spot at the right time, and being prepared. You got your camera all set up and it's ready to go, and you snap that shot. And I love this shot. I think it's a great picture. The wings are just perfectly balanced together. You see both of them in their glory. It's a very narrow focus, which has all the bird in focus, but you see that blurs out the beach, so it removes your distraction from that. The only thing that does distract you is the birds in the upper left-hand corner there. If you could clone those out possibly, or fade them out a little bit by burning them down a little bit. That's the only distraction I see. Other than that, this is a great shot, great crop, good lighting, excellent job.
Next, Orion and the Running Man. And there's somebody that seems to lately only take pictures after the sun goes way down. I know what went into this picture. I like it. That had been stacked and tracked. Last one, Tomorrowland, Namibia.
Well, it lacks, first of all, it's a very attractive shot. The sky is very boring. So I would probably get rid of the top part of the sky, not all the way down to 16:9 probably, but maybe. If the sky is not interesting, get rid of it, but the mountains in the background, the land in the background is certainly interesting. There's a little bit of light towards the very bottom on a little kind of brownish rock in front of the bluish rock. That makes up most of the foreground. I might dodge. I might burn that just a little bit. But it's a nice photograph. I just don't think you need quite that much sky.
Okay. So that is the last one. So let's see.
Love your wallpaper.
Judges. Let's see what the judges have to say. We had a tie for like with as many, a lot of honorable mentions, so. First honorable mention goes to Rose Epps, Colorful Blue Jay. Another honorable mention, Shelton Mulzar, vegetarian. Shelton is online. Another honorable mention, guitarist, Arlie Pfeiffer. Honorable mention, John Chatham, Iceland Seastack. Third, William Ling, see you later. And second, Travis Hanna, Orion and the Running Man. Is Travis with us?
Travis is here, and he's a new member.
Travis
And I just been looking, Alan and I have a go tomorrow, we'll be at the reception tomorrow at Relay Hooverville pre-snack, or you can see that picture. Pre-snack, did I mention pre-snack?
Stack and track.
Oh, yes, that's 250 millimeter red cap,
Okay,
telescope on a tracker and guided and all that stuff.
I almost went down that way.
It's the general.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna put that out there, you don't have to find it.
Mhm.
It's general. This was pretty short, this was probably only 4 hours, 5 hours.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure.
I almost went down that rabbit hole.
Generally 30 hours when we get on.
Yeah. That's amazing.
And first place goes to Donna Smith, the nose. And Donna, you're online there. Tell us about your photo.
You should know about this little guy.
I know
Can
he
you
was trying
hear
to
me?
get Jim's donuts.
Yeah, we took a photography class, a boat tour out to the shoot whooping cranes, and this little guy comes passing by, and the two boats, one of the boats had all the donuts, my boat did not, and he was smelling those donuts, and that's what he was looking for.
It's just so nice with his nose right there into the sun and the lighting and his eyes, and holy crud, you did
He
a
was
nice job.
so close. He was so close. You could almost reach out and touch him. It was pretty cool. It was a pretty cool experience.
And we also learned an interesting fact, the reason why the coyotes down there have that reddish color is because they interbreeded with the red bull that is now extinct.
Oh, okay.
So that's why the coyotes down there along the coast have that reddish tint.
So also online, we have Bill Lane and Shelton Malzar, they want you to say anything about the pictures.
I heard my name, but I didn't hear anything else.
So, go ahead, Bill.
Which one was his?
William Lane.
Oh, the see you later alligator?
You want to know about it?
Yeah.
The only thing I did to it was get all the crap out of the water. It was at Aransas Beach or whatever, the aquarium, the nature preserve there. And I didn't do much to it other than just clean up the water. And it was just like a really great alligator. Of course, I shoot a lot of wildlife, but I've never shot an alligator before. And well, thanks for doing it. By the way, I got to give Stephen a great round of applause. I have not heard any judge ever tell it like it is, like he does. I think he needs to be a permanent judge, and we need to find like the two other from now on, okay?
I'd be more than happy to help out. I wasn't sure that, I've been getting these invitations, but I haven't really said anything because I'm remote, but if this works for you, I enjoyed doing it. So
I'm remote too. And, I guess it's because I agree with what you said, like I was nodding my head at every moment of every critique you gave. So maybe we were like twin sons of different mothers.
All right. William likes Stephen's critiquing. No? All right. So we will go on to the advanced.
People's choice.
Oh,
Yes, people's
why don't we do-
choice.
let's do people's choice. Let's go back.
And this was the largest intermediate class.
Yeah.
All right. So people's choice. So we had a tie. So we got 2 silvers and a gold, no bronze. So silver goes to Ty Lehman for the great egret with the pyramid admirer.
This, I'll just say this is just from the pond in the neighborhood that I walk around almost every day. And I got that last year. And just thought that it was interesting with the turtles staring up at the egret, and the dark background just really made it stand out. Even though it's so busy, I think it still stood out okay.
And during breeding season too.
And you didn't blow out the whites of the bird, so that you have to
Yeah.
pay attention.
Easy to blow out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
lots
really
of-
have to pay attention to do that right.
Yeah, lots of good texture in the bird.
Yeah.
Managed to get the white to not go flat.
They don't look like that all year round either.
The next silver goes to Luis Schubert, Springtime in the Smokies. Lois, sorry.
You want to say anything about the picture?
But I just wish I would have been there in the fall on the color and then and I would change these off.
All right, and then let's see. Gold goes to Donna Smith. Moving on up to advance next year. The nose knows.
That's cool.
All right. Now let's go to advanced.
Before you do that, can I ask a question?
Go for it.
The long exposures were both dead on. Is that a topic you guys have discussed in the past, or is it just coincidence?
No, we haven't discussed it anytime. Yeah, but I think it's just coincidence.
Okay, both nice.
So we'll go advanced. Now remember, our advanced is judged outside by PSA. Ooh. Do a quick scan through the images. Got 10 images in the advanced. First one, Nature's Disco. A chorus, She's Beautiful. A Little Shy. Thirsty roots. Model behavior. On the hunt. Black Mesa at night. Blue stairway. Kittens. The thunder rolls. All right. So now. Let me find the one I need. It shows. Nope, of course not. You'd think by now I would know which one. Quick scan, show judges. This one. All right. Our PSA judge was Joel Ohlsen. Good composition, excellent color scheme, interesting lighting. The stem is just enough out of focus to be a little distracting for me. I wonder what the image might be like if there were a bit more lighting from the right side. Sharply focused on main subject, unusual and interesting presentation. Excellent story, interesting lighting, sharply focused on subject, good color balance. Two areas of concern for me, the light colored band which runs diagonally across the subject's shoulder, and the lighter background objects just below the microphone. Excellent portrait. Beautiful image, sharp focus, great composition, great color, excellent story, excellent detail. Thirsty roots. Fascinating study of roots, branches, and a cliff. There's so much to observe in this image. To me, there's not sufficient distinction between the various main elements to focus my attention. And the brighter branches in the lower portion of the image seem to draw my eye away from what I think is the main subject. I did attempt to reduce the contrast a bit, which I think actually makes the roots stand out better. Model behavior, great story with wonderful expression. The subject is sharply focused with nice blurring of the background. Light seemed to me to push my attention to the main subject. I appreciate the composition. It seems to me that the out of focus portions of her hand and arms seem to distract from the impact just a bit. On the hunt. Very good story, sharply focused, main subject with nicely complementary background. Excellent color balance, good composition, interesting lighting. Excellent composition with the core of the Milky Way seeming to exit from the rock. Minimal distortion of the stars related to exposure time, sharp focus on foreground. In my opinion, the differential in detail between the near foreground rocks and the mid and distant rock detracts from the impact of the image. I think that either diminishing the exposure of the foreground or enhancing the further back rocks would help. Blue stairway, intriguing story. What is he looking for? Sharply focused image, great color, nice framing of the subject, and very nice lighting, which pulls the eye to the subject. The loss of the subject's left shoulder might be an issue, though in my opinion, that is not significant. Kittens. This image is sharply focused, nicely composed, with excellent color in my opinion. This is a well done image, though the subject matter and story have become so commonplace that it seems to reduce the impact of this particular image. Last, the thunder rolls. In my opinion, this is a great capture of a stormy landscape scene with very sharp focus, great color, balance, excellent mood portrayal. My only critique is that the lightning strikes are at the extremes of the image. While I think it would have been better to try to catch some in the middle as well, I realize that controlling Mother Nature is not possible. Okay. So the judge says third place, Nick Grossman, Blue Stairway. Nick is here, say something.
Yeah, this is a well-known town in Morocco called Chefouin, where everything is blue. Nobody knows why. They suspect it's because it draws the tourists in. Although other theories are it keeps the mosquitoes away. But we found this beautifully coloured doorway and beautifully lit doorway, and our local guide was then posed in the on the stairs.
Very nice. Second place, Alan Irby, of course, she's beautiful. I'd say this is a venue called Steamer Lane. Steamer Lane in Cedar Park. When they use the light lighting, it actually is a very stunning place to shoot pictures. Okay. And first place goes to Dennis Bosserman. Very nice.
So this picture was taken at the aquarium, Texas State Aquarium down in Corpus Christi. And they have a whole area that's dedicated to the Caribbean. And the best thing about this was you could get within about 3 feet of the flamingos. And I actually took it with this camera.
There you go.
So
I
the
have
best
almost
camera
that-
is the camera you have with you.
I have almost that same shot, but your bird is prettier than my bird.
And this bird kept trying to go to sleep, and people would walk by and then it'd wake up, and so I caught him with one eye open finally. But
Was it outside lighting or inside?
well, they have a clear dome at that point, and there's lots of sunlight that comes down in there, so it was really perfectly lit. I mean, I was that far away from the bird, and that makes all the difference.
Please tell me you're going to frame this one and put it on your wall.
I'm sorry,
You gonna frame it and put it on your wall?
I have already.
It has one. All right. Now let's see what the people have to say. So we had a tie for bronze, so we got 3 bronzes. First one. Hey, that's me. Black Mesa at night. Yay. Yeah, this is Black Mesa, Oklahoma. If you haven't been there, it's just about as dark as Big Bend, or maybe even darker. How far? Huh? How far drive? what was it? About 9 hours. It's in the, it was up in the corner of like New Mexico, Texas, and Oklahoma.
Okay.
And we actually stayed in New Mexico. It was about a 45-minute drive to Black Mesa. And in me, my main lens is my Canon RF 15-35 f2.8. But for some reason, it was on my camera. I thought it wasn't on my camera, so I replaced that and put my 24-105 f4 on there. So I did not have my f2.8, but I was still able to capture this with an f4 using the same settings I would have put my f2.8. So that's how dark it was. But yeah, we spent the whole night out there. And
Did you,
15 seconds, ISO 6400, f4,
just ISO 400? Wow.
ISO 6. Yeah, my main settings for all my Astro is 6400 f2.8 if I have it, and
Wow.
so that's in 15 seconds on an R5, 15 seconds with the megapixels. If I still had my R6, I probably could go push it to 20 seconds and might get a little streaking with the stars, but 15 seconds, my R5 seems to be perfect. But yeah, Jim was out there too. We watched them wander aimlessly looking for their cameras for an hour.
Did you modify the colors in any way?
Did I modify? No, I did enhance the Milky Way in Photoshop, and then I got a plug in for Astro that I can use.
So the pink is accurate.
Yes. Another bronze. Dennis on the hunt.
So this is taken along Bull Creek this spring, and it was taken with my 105 and my 850 Nikon, but I use the 105 for a lot of macro stuff, and that's my favorite lens for taking stuff like this. But
It's a great lens.
There you go. Bronze. Nick Grossman. Kittens. Morocco.
Morocco, but a different town.
Right.
You have a fish that we're holding in there?
Yes,
They're really focused on you.
yeah, 2 fishes.
Silver. Nick Grossman. Blue Stairway. And I think the people
win, I really did.
agreed with the judge. A little shy. Dennis,
Thank you.
Yeah.
very nice. So that concludes. Thank you, everybody.